Miss Yellow doesn't have much of an injury history to worry about other than a tight strain in a calf some time ago, so we need to be a little bit careful of the more dynamic movement. But in general, Miss Yellow exercises for general health and well-being, both physical and mental, aiming for longevity rather than the usual short-term physical goal. We always begin with a few gentle mobility exercises as a couple of circuits, progressing in intensity as we go along. Starting with some shoulder rolls, touching fingers to shoulders, making as big a circle with the elbows as possible. Touching the elbows in front, lifting high as you can, brushing the biceps past the ears. Deep breath in on the way up, a deep breath out on the way back. Aiming to touch the elbows in front and squeeze shoulder blades together at the back. Next, marching on a spot, pull the knee towards the chest. Lifting the leg as high as you can, feeling a stretch through the hips. Also working your arms to pull the knee tight. A fairly brisk pace, gradually going to increase the heart rate as we go, not just stretch the muscles. Next, take a wider stance, hold on to the elbows and twist side to side with a little bit of momentum, bouncing slightly at the more extreme of the turn to get a stretch in the side of the torso and lower back. Relax the arms enough and you'll feel a stretch in the back of the shoulder too. Next, on a slippery ground, I prefer with socks, shoes off, slide the foot back and lift the leg up behind, pumping the hamstring, aiming the heel to the buttock. After doing approximately 10 each leg, you're going to go back to the first exercise. Touch the shoulders, make big circles with the elbows. Deep breath in on the way up, breathe out on the way down. Touch the elbows in front, brush past the ears, squeeze shoulder blades together at the back. Try reach further and further with each movement. Next, going to take a really deep squat and lift the knee as you come up. Deep squat with your heel still on the ground and pull the knee towards your chest. Gradually, within a comfortable range, trying to increase the length of the movement as you go. Start working your balance, slow it down at the top a little bit if you can. Next, taking a wider stance, hold on to your elbows and twist side to side. Use momentum to stretch the muscles around your torso and lower back. Allow everything to move except your feet and your head, so your knees can turn slightly, your hips can move, twist the torso. Next, take a long stance back, stride back, push the heel down with knees straight, and reach your arms high and back overhead as you can. Keep marching, stretching the foot behind as far as you can, stretching the foot behind further and further each step. Reach as far as you can with your arms, stretching your shoulders and your abdomen. Just one more round, a little bit quicker than we first started. Long circles with a little bit more intensity. Secondly, take a deep squat. Look for a little bit of freedom, move around a little bit. Stand and pull your knee to your chest twice each leg. Squat again, move around a little bit. Your chest between your knees, chest upright. Push your knees out to the side. Stand and pull your knee to your chest 4 times, trying to expand the range of movement that you feel comfortable with today. Want to make sure the joints are all comfortable and able to move freely. This time from a squat, lower one knee to the floor, push the hips forwards to stretch the front of hip and inner thigh. Push the knees together, push the knees out, rock back and forwards. Look for freedom, look for any tension in the muscles and joints. Stand and pull your knee to your chest 4 times. Back to a really wide stance. Hold on to your elbows and twist side to side. After about half a dozen, slowly start bending over, release your arms and twist side to side still. Pick a spot to focus your eyesight on the ground and keep twisting. After a few, slowly stand, grab the elbows and keep twisting. Each time trying to reach a little bit further. Bending over, release your arms, twist side to side like you're playing golf, keep your eye on the ball. Everything can move except the head and your feet. And back to standing once more. Next, take a lunge back, knee to the mat, and reach your hands up and back as far as you can. A long stride, stretching your hips, and reach high as you can, stretching your shoulders and your torso. Your lower back may feel a little bit of a bend as well, that's fine. Reach as far as you are comfortable with, but gradually increasing as you go along. As you lunge back, perhaps reach one arm, the same as the back leg. Get the hand as far away from the knee as possible. Stretch down one side of the torso. As you stand, stride the other leg back. Same side as the back leg reaches as high as you can. And that should do it for about a 5-minute warm-up. Next, we'll go into a circuit of exercises that will challenge cardiovascular fitness, balance, flexibility, strength in one go, with movements that would change from one workout to the next, always asking the body to adapt to something new. Starting from the mat, I'll ask Miss Yellow to place the hands on the mat, burpee back to lay flat on your front, arms off the ground, and then push off the floor, jumping forwards to stand up. But notice as I jump, I ask to land as softly as possible. To cushion the landing, use the muscles to gently land on the floor as to not provide the impact that a calf would be unhappy with. So place hands down on the floor, gently hop back, lay flat on your front, hands and legs off the ground, push off the floor, jump into a deep squat and stand again. Hands down, jump back, hands off the ground. Jump forwards, landing softly into a squat and stand. Keeping a fairly brisk pace to raise the heart rate. We're aiming for 10 repetitions. Next, take an elastic band and lying flat on your front, reach as far as you can. Keep a little bit of tension in the elastic. As you arch your back slightly, pull the elastic to your collarbone. Reach forwards as far as you can and take a little rest. Lift off the ground and squeeze shoulder blades together as you pull back towards your collarbone. You should feel muscles in your upper back and middle back working to lift. If you feel muscles in your lower back getting a little tired, relax your feet on the ground. You don't need to arch your back so much. We're aiming for another 10 repetitions. And next, from kneeling, stride forwards to stand up, lunge back, 2 knees down. Another brisk pace, stride forwards to stand up, lunge back to 2 knees on the floor. As you stride forwards, you want to start from about a 90-degree bend in the knees. Push the heel into the ground to stand up. After leading with one leg for 10 repetitions to standing up 10 times, lead with the other leg. Stride forwards, heel into the ground to stand up. You want to take a long stride, feel a slight stretch in the leg. Push the heel into the ground to stand up. Again, a brisk pace to keep your heart rate up. After 10 each leg, you'll need a flat wall, standing about 20 centimeters from the wall, feet parallel, about shoulder width. Place a palm on the wall, make the biggest circle you can, keeping that hand on the wall. Follow the hand round with your head. Allow your torso to twist. If you find it easy, shuffle your feet back a little bit closer to the wall. As you wipe, reach as high as you can and then as low as you can as it goes behind the hips. Every time feeling a stretch in the shoulders and your torso. Aiming to make the biggest circle you can through the shoulder. Next, we're moving back onto the mat. Back into a burpee, taking hands off the ground, hopping forwards into a deep squat to stand up again. Land softly, cushion your landing. A brisk pace or a slightly quicker pace this time around if you can. Little trick to try and listen out for the thump as your feet hit the ground. The louder it is, the more momentum you're using, the less you're cushioning your landing and the more impact you're going to take through your joints. If you land softly, using the knees and the ankles to cushion the landing, it shouldn't make very much noise at all. It'll also take more muscle involved to control the movement if you're landing softly. Keep everything engaged. Control is very important. After about 10, you're going to have a lie down on your front again. Reach out for the elastic. Arch slightly as you pull the elbows back, reaching the elastic to your collarbone. Take a deep breath in as you pull back. Breathe out as you rest out in front. Squeeze shoulder blades every time you pull. Focus on effort from the back muscles around your shoulder blades. After about 10, you're going to go from kneeling, stride forwards to stand up, push heel into the ground to get up again. Take a lunge back, both knees on the floor, and stride forwards, pushing heel into the ground to stand up. Long strides, keeping a brisk pace, your heart rate will stay high. After striding forwards about 10 with one leg, lead with the other. From kneeling, stride forwards, heel into the ground to stand up. Keeping a brisk pace, keeping your heart rate up, working muscles in the back of thigh and buttocks to push up to standing. Marching 10 times with that second leg. You're then going to move back towards the wall, standing about 20 centimeters or so, a little bit closer to make it more difficult. Palm to the wall, long wipes, make the biggest circle you can with your hand. Your head follows your hand to allow the shoulders to turn with your arm, twisting the torso as far as you can go, aiming for a deep stretch into the shoulder. If you find it easy, step back a little bit closer to the wall. Reach as high as you can and low as you can as you go behind your hips. The biggest range of movement, the better. After about 10 each arm, take a break. Next, we'll go into another circuit of 4 short bodyweight exercises. Take approximately a shoulder width stance with your heels on the mat. Lower yourself down to the mat, roll back to have a lie down flat on your back, reach as far as you can, make yourself long, and then sit up and stand using just the one hand to help you stand up. One hand to lower yourself down to flat on the floor, sit up and use that same hand to get up again. The more supple your lower body and spine, the easier you'll find this movement. Deep breath in as you stretch, breathe out as you sit up. Deflate to allow more movement. To add another layer of difficulty into this exercise, keep your feet in the exact same spot. Keep them planted on the floor. Make it a little harder still. Don't reach the arms behind. Start killing momentum that helps you stand up. Next, walk to the back of the mat with your toes on the mat. Reach down and walk the hands forwards to a push-ups position. From there, lower yourself to a plank on your elbows. Push off back onto your hands and back up to standing. Crawl forwards down to a plank, back up onto your hands and walk your hands back until you can stand. Alternate the arm that you push off from an elbow plank. Bend at the knees, use a squat to get to the mat and a squat to stand back up at the end of the exercise. You're aiming for about 10, pushing 5 with each arm. Moving from horizontal to vertical, back to horizontal will add a lot to your heart rate. Move gently, don't hit the mat with any force. You want to be as quiet as possible. The quieter your movements, the more muscles are engaged. Next, walk forwards again to about 2/3 along the mat. You can use your hands on the ground. Try reach one knee back and touch the floor without the foot touching the ground. Using just one hand, the same as the leg that you take off the floor, makes it harder. If you're brave enough to try with no hands, even harder still. It takes a lot of leg strength to help you stand up again. Slowly lift the foot off the ground, reach the knee back to the mat without the foot touching. Ideally, you keep your front foot flat on the floor. The more you reach forwards, the easier it is to keep your balance. Alternate the strides, keep moving until you have about 10 or 5 each side. Next, you're going to take a push-ups position. Slowly turn onto one side and open the feet, open your stance as wide as you can, pointing to the ceiling. Slowly turn, no rush, onto the other side and open your stance and point to the ceiling. Slow, gradual, intentional movements are your target. Slowly turn to your side, the outside of the foot, open your feet, point to the ceiling. Taking your time moving from one side to the next. You want to make sure that when you open your stance and point to the ceiling, you can hold that position. You're not just using momentum to throw your limbs up. You want to make sure that strength, muscular strength, is doing the work. As an alternative, you can lower yourself down to your elbow. Move from a plank onto your sides, one forearm flat on the ground, and open your stance pointing to the ceiling. Slow, gradual movements. Keep everything under control. Any speed in your movements will add momentum to the exercise. Momentum is effort the muscle needs to be doing. Next, you stand up, back to the first exercise, restarting the circuit. Heels on the mat, keep your feet flat on the ground, Lower yourself down to the ground to lay flat and reach, and then sit up and push that one arm to stand up. Use one arm to lower yourself down, your back flat on the mat, and then sit up and stand using that one arm to help you. Keeping your feet in the same spot makes it harder. Not reaching your hands behind your head will make it harder as well. The less momentum, the better. Breathe out as you sit up to allow more movement. After about 10, you walk back to the back of the mat, hands down, walk your hands forwards down to your elbows to a plank, and push off back into a push-ups position and walk your hands back to standing. Crawl forwards to a push-ups position, down to your elbows, push off back up onto your hands and walk your hands back to standing. Remember to use a squat to get to the mat and walk your hands back into another squat before you stand. Don't just bend at the hips, relying on your back to do the lifting. You want to make sure that you involve as many muscles as possible, reaching the mat and standing again. With Miss Yellow, we don't ask for a sprint. We ask for control to keep the muscles involved, keep them all working. After about 10, you're going to move about 2/3 of the way along the mat. Take a knee back to touch the floor without the foot touching the ground. Alternate the leg that you're striding back with. Knee touch the floor, but not the foot. Slow and controlled, keeping your balance. And finally, you're going to move into a push-ups position. From here, turn onto your side. Point to the ceiling as you open your feet. Slowly turn onto the other side. Take your time, moving little steps at a time. Open your stance and point to the ceiling. Hold for a second or two. Slowly back down to turn again to the other side. Slow, consistent, gentle pace. With a lot of these exercises, there are lots of muscle involved in the movements, so you don't necessarily need speed to raise the heart rate, but just keep moving at a steady, consistent pace. Aiming for control above everything else. At the top of the movement, you're pausing for a second to demonstrate that strength is getting you there, not momentum. After about 5 each side, take a pause and a drink of water. As with the vast majority of people, Miss Yellow's joint and muscular discomfort comes from an accumulation of tension in the muscles, not necessarily the activity that she does. So to fight that accumulation of tension, we always end our workouts with a series of stretches, a bit of flexibility work to make sure she's moving comfortably after the training session. This is a short 2 to 3 minute stretch routine that we often do that you can find on a video in the link above. Start by taking a deep breath in as you reach up and back as far as you can. Breathe out as you reach down towards your toes. Relax your body, let your arms hang, chest towards your knees. Walk your hands along the mat. When you get to the front, lower your hips to the ground, lift your chest, pin your shoulder blades back and look for some freedom. Move around a little bit. Feel the stretch in your abdomen. Lift your hips, sit back onto your feet, push your bottom back into your heels and lean into one shoulder, lean into the other. Again, look for freedom. Slowly move forwards, lie down on your front and grab your feet behind you. Without arching your back too much, bend the elbows to pull your feet, stretching the front of thighs. Clenching your buttocks will give you a deeper stretch. Push your body off the ground, throw one foot forwards as far as you can get it, a long stride. Place the opposite hand past your foot, as far as you can. Chest on thigh, reach your fingertips forwards. Chest on thigh, reach your fingertips forwards. Take both feet forwards into a deep squat. From here, lean your shoulder into your knee and the other hand point to the sky. Twisting your torso as far as you can, keeping your heels on the ground. Arm down, other shoulder into your knee, twist in the other direction. Keeping your heels on the ground. Again, look for some freedom with every movement. Whichever leg was in front now goes back as far as you can. A long stride, stretching the back of the thigh. Chest on thigh, reach the opposite hand past your foot. Chest on thigh, push your fingertips forwards. After a few seconds, both hands on the mat, take both legs back. From kneeling, clench the buttocks, tight abdominals, and lean back into a front of thigh stretch, into your quad stretch. Hands behind you on the floor will give you a little bit more support, but most people will not need to lean back onto their hands. Slowly move forwards, and this time take a leg forwards underneath you into what people call a pigeon stretch, chest to your calf. Hold onto your foot so it doesn't slip back. Kick that foot back in a diagonal direction off the mat, and breathe out as you turn your hips, pointing your toes to the sky. Lift your body, take the other leg forwards, chest to calf as you hold your foot. Feel the stretch in the buttock. Move around a little bit, look for freedom. After a few seconds, kick the leg back underneath you so you're already half twisting your body. As you breathe out, roll the hips to twist your body further, point your toes to the ceiling, twisting your torso. Lift your hips back into a push-ups position and slowly walk your hands back, keeping your heels on the ground as far as you can. Grab your calves at the back, chest to knees. Grab your hamstrings, push your upper back up. And then take a deep breath in as you look at the ceiling, arching back, reaching your thumbs back as far as you can. And relax. And on to something more specific to Miss Yellow. At the end of a workout, I ask her to do a few extra stretches to help ease tension of areas that she finds more problematic. Starting with a lunged position, 1 foot forwards, knee above ankle, but push heel into the ground to push the hips forwards. From this long stride, feel more stretch in the front of hip of your back leg by clenching the buttock of your back leg. Stay really upright as you need to stretch the hip forwards relative to your upper body. Leaning forwards will take away the front of hip stretch. Long stride, hold it for a couple of seconds, push heel into the ground to pull your hips forwards. Clench the buttock on the back leg for added intensity in the stretch. Next, from seated on the mat, cross an ankle on your knee and lift the knee of the leg that's underneath so you can lean forwards, reaching your chin towards your shin. A deep breath out or exhale to allow more movement and stretch a little further. After a few seconds, pushing into that leg, lean back, switch legs, and breathe out as you push your chin or your chest towards your calf. These stretches at the end of Miss Yellow's workout are much slower. We take our time to gain a little bit more movement with each position. Using deep breaths to help relax the body, and while holding each position, looking for a slight tilt in the hips or a slight lean one way or another to explore where might feel the tightest tension maybe. We do this stretch a couple of times on each side, and then we reach for a foam roller. Looking for the problem area in the calf, upper calf, we try to massage that area to knead out some knots and extra tension that she may carry in that area. This is usually quite a painful activity for Miss Yellow. So when needed, we use both legs at the same time to half the pressure that she puts into each calf, and also move slowly through the full length of the calf muscle, rotating in and out slightly as she's going up and down the calf to search for those knots. I asked Miss Yellow to spend just a minute or two, maybe 3 minutes at max, on each calf, but many times a day. You want to do little but often to encourage tension off the muscle. After a couple of minutes rolling that calf, slowly sit and switch legs. Do the same on the other leg. Even though it's one leg that may have the injury of the old strain in the calf muscle, chances are the other leg won't be far behind. So it's always good practice to, if you're massaging one, releasing tension in one leg, to also do the same to the other. You spend your time on both feet, you don't hop around all day, so chances are the level of tension will be pretty close from one leg to another. After rolling the calves out for a couple of minutes, I asked Miss Yellow to use a step to stretch the calf muscle that she's just been rolling. We use an exercise step, the steps in a home, or if we're outdoors, perhaps off a curb of a pavement. Standing on the first step, reaching a heel down off the back of that step as far as you can. From here, if you clench the thigh muscle, you feel more stretch in the calf. If you try to lift your toes of the leg that you're stretching, you'll feel more stretch in the calf. I ask her to dip the heel as far as she can and then clench the thigh muscle and lift the toes just for a few seconds at a time. I asked Miss Yellow to take her time and imagine her calf as an elastic band that she's gradually trying to pull the two ends further and further apart. We repeat this stretch a few times on each leg, spending about 10 seconds on each stretch. It's actually quite difficult to overstretch or overtrain with flexibility. So I ask Miss Yellow to do this as often as possible. As she's going throughout the day, first thing on arising, before bed, to gradually encourage that tension out of the muscle. It's taken many years to accumulate such tension, so it's going to take a while of repetitive stretching, rolling out with a foam roller, massaging the area to get the calves a little bit more supple or moving more comfortably. Finally, towards the end of our workout, I asked Miss Yellow to take a comfortable seat on a mat. We take some time to do some exaggerated breathing. Wonderful health benefits that it has, both physically and mentally. We take a protocol of 30 exaggerated breaths, fully in and fully out, at a brisk pace. At the end of the 30th deep breath, I ask Miss Yellow to hold completely empty, to force all the air out of her lungs and sit there without breathing in for 30 to 60 seconds. At the end of those 30 to 60 seconds, to take a deep breath in, fill the lungs and hold for another 15 to 30 seconds. We might do this for 2 or 3 rounds, in total taking about 7 to 10 minutes. At the end of those 7 to 10 minutes of exaggerated breathing, Miss Yellow feels a little bit calmer, more relaxed, feels like tension is dissipated a little bit. As Miss Yellow's workouts tend to be scheduled later in the day, she's reported that she gets a better, more restful night's sleep. Even if it is just a placebo effect, the effects are definitely there. At the end of the last hold, we take a moment, we don't rush away out of this position, but instead just allow breathing to come back to normal. Allow fingers and toes to start moving gradually, and slowly move into a few gentle stretches. I ask Miss Yellow to straighten out her legs and slowly breathe out again as she reaches forwards towards her feet. Hold it for a few seconds. And then push herself into a deep squat. Allow her torso to lean between her knees, continuing to breathe slowly and calmly, slowly standing and grabbing the opposite foot behind you to stretch the front of thigh, front of hip, pull your posture up, reaching that foot back and returning back to whatever was on the schedule for that day.